is a reentry health conductor? What does your job entail?
Well, a reentry health conductor is someone who helps usher people and navigate people from jail and or prison back into society via health care. We have a lot of people with chronic diseases that are in prison and are in jails, and they have a hard time upon reentry, a harder time than the average person reentering. So we take them and we pretty much connect with them while they're in jail, pre-release, and then create a pathway for them to come through to a health home, first and foremost, and then we start to help them flesh out their program and flesh out.
How exciting is this? Because one of the things you often hear about a challenge for people who are reentering, in addition to jobs and housing and all the other things, is the health issues not being taken care of. Now, how long has this program been started?
Well, this program has been active for over 6 years now.
Okay.
And however, we just started online with a transitions clinic. So we have a transitions clinic where we automatically enroll participants in while they're in jail.
Now, when you say the transition clinic, that's the preparation from jail to the outside?
Right. So they'll have a clinic to come directly to when they get out.
So you've literally already connected them as if it's a transition home, is that what I'm understanding?
A transitional health
place
home.
And so now this health center that you're referring to, is it also a place where they live, or they just come there for the health services?
No, they just come for health services. We have added an added component to the transitions clinic, which is called Remedy, Reentry Making Everyday Yours. This is a support group that helps you deal with your challenges and barriers to reentry.
Wow.
Right.
How long do the services last?
Well, the services, you can stay a part of Remedy as long as you'd like to.
Wow, I love to hear that. Because typically what you hear with programming, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and it works fine for that period of time, but then when the services drop off, typically we can see people start to have challenges again. So I'm glad to hear that this is a program that goes for the duration.
Yes.
So how did you get into this work, Mr. Terry?
Well, I served almost 2 decades in prison.
Okay.
And it wasn't my first time going. And every time that I came home, there was always an issue. I was never afforded any work furlough, any halfway house, and stuff of that nature. So while I was in prison, I started seeing a lot of young people come. A lot of young men come to prison that didn't have education and were suffering from various different chronic diseases, some mental illnesses, some taking just psychotropic medication to be able to sleep the time away. So I got on the Men's Advisory Council and I started diverting people coming in, young men coming in, to vocation and educational programs because I learned that they couldn't read.
Now, was this you did this while you were still
while
on
I
the
was in
inside?
prison?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that then translated to, that's how you just natural to flow into this position, or was this position created around the expertise that you brought to the community?
Well, the position was there. I started as an intervention specialist.
Okay.
To where I met all my participants while they were in John Muir Hospital after being shot or stabbed, victims of violent crimes. So, and then that transferred, when that contract was over, I applied for Contra Costa Health Services, and man, here we are now.
Did you have any idea, it sounds as if you did this from the heart, that you saw a need and you filled it. Did you have any idea that it was going to translate into what it has become for you in terms of your becoming the reentry health coordinator, and in terms of the success that you've seen in your life even after incarceration?
To be honest with you, they say that God has better dreams for you than you ever could imagine. I never could imagine myself being this given.
One of the things that always comes, not first, but probably second, third, is churches and our faith-based community, because I personally see faith-based as the hub, or should be the center of our communities. You know, that's where a lot of people congregate. They already know each other. They are already somewhat, in some cases, really well-run machines. Some cases, working towards becoming that. But they're coming together. What have you found in Contra Costa County, or the area that you serve, has been the support that you're receiving from your faith-based organizations? Has it been what you would like it to be? Could it be improved? If so, how?
Well, I must start this by saying that I wrote a scathing report
Okay.
about the churches and the masjids in our neighborhood in about 1997. I charged everyone with insubordination because I felt the church had lost its voice. I felt that someone has offered the church something to be quiet. This is just my personal opinion. Since my release, I have found churches that are working in the community. As a matter of fact, my home church, I kind of stepped away from my home church because my pastor was not in the community being effective as I felt that he should be. I felt as if a local drug dealer can walk a block around where he sells drugs, and everybody says, "Hey, JoJo," or "Hey, Bob," and everybody knows him. But if you walk a pastor outside of his church and walk him around the corner and nobody speaks to him, come on.
Wow.
What are you doing?
What would you say is still the biggest challenge that you're seeing in this incarceration crisis that still needs work from your perspective?
The overall criminalization of the black and brown communities. It hasn't stopped since the black codes of the 1800s to now. The criminalization of the black and brown communities.
I'm trying so hard not to say amen every time you say
it's all you see.
I'm just go ahead and say it. You're hitting all the high points in terms of the way I see it as well, but it's always good to hear someone else who sees that well. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Mr. Terry.
It's okay. It's just really all you see are shootings of young black and brown people, and it's a continual visual. This desensitizes you to that. This actually criminalized you. I remember when cops first came out, all you ever saw was somebody black or brown being chased. I mean, until he just absolutely ran out of breath and could not take one other step further. And then you watched law enforcement, go through a maneuver that was uncalled for. I mean, you've chased him until he ran out of gas. He can't go any further.
So art became life, or life became art.
Exactly. They brought it from the screen and showed it to you all the time.
Stereotyping, profiling.
Exactly.
Arresting and longer sentencing for the same crime.
Exactly.
So we are at this critical point where life is begging us to do more than just talk. Do you see is a way for us to begin to stop this madness?
Well, you really hit on the tip of it, humanity. Human rights before civil rights. Then comes civil rights after human rights. But if I wanted to tell people about other people that are coming home from incarceration, give them an opportunity. That was something they did. It doesn't actually define who they are.
Right.
It really doesn't. And you might find that you'll find a studied, accomplished person coming back into society if you give them the opportunity. You will find a disciplined person, a patient person, someone who knows how to follow things through. They had to wait for the release date. And the fact that they made a release date made the difference. You have murderers that people really feel like, okay, well this guy will never change. No, what happened on the paper, what's on the piece of paper won't change, pardon me. The person can change.
Picture for our viewers who may never have been in contact with a person who is returning to the community, or think that they understand what it's like for someone who's returning to the community. Can you paint a real picture? We hear jobs, housing, people need that. That's real.
Right.
But what is that full picture of what a person may feel like when they're coming back, almost as if they're an alien, depending on how long they've been gone, to return to a society that has changed so much? Help us to understand that.
You feel isolated. I mean, there's a certain amount of fear that you were able to mask while you were in prison. But then the mask comes out in society. It's time to perform. No one is feeding you. No one's washing your clothes. No one is allowing you to lie around. It's real time and real things. So the mask comes off, and people are really afraid. It's more so fear when you first come home. Will I fit in? Will I be able to take care of myself? will I be able to be the man that I'm supposed to be? Jail, prison is designed to take a lot of that from you. It's designed to really break you down, to take that away from you, your ability to do for self, and your feeling of responsibility for self, for community, for family. It takes that away. In my opinion, it puts you in an infantile state of mind to a certain degree, because so much is being done for you. So you have a fear of being able to function outside. You have to just realize that a lot of people that are re-entering just need an opportunity. They just need an opportunity.